Let's take a look at the configuration of control plane policing. Here on this router that's acting as a PC, I'm going to do a continuous ping to router R1. And those ICMP echo requests coming from the PC are going to go into R1's control plane. And we're going to set up control plane policing such that if the pings become too frequent, we're going to start dropping. We'll police some of those excess ICMP packets. Let's start the ping by doing a ping to 10.1.1.1, and I'll say I want to repeat this lots of times. And notice we're getting a bunch of exclamation points, meaning that all the pings are successful. We're not dropping anything. Let's go over to R1 and let's configure control plane policing. And we're going to go through the three-step MQC process that we use with quality of service. And the first step is to create a class map. And a class map can recognize traffic in a variety of ways. One way it can recognize traffic is by using a traditional access control list. That's what we're going to do. Let's go into global configuration mode, and I'm going to set up an extended access control list. I'll say IP access list extended. I'll give it a number of 100, and I'm going to match all ICMP traffic. I'll say permit ICMP from anywhere to anywhere. Now that we've got our access control list, we can apply that to the class map. Let's create a class map, and I'll call it ping, and I'm going to match traffic that's matching access list 100. So we say access-group 100, and that's step one of MQC, the modular quality of service command line interface. That's what MQC stands for. Now let's do step two. Step two is we create a policy map. I'll say policy-map, ping-policy. And I'll go into policy map class configuration mode for the class I just created. To do that, I say class ping. And the quality of service mechanism we use for control plane policing is policing. I'm going to say I want to police traffic. And it's important to note that when we're setting up policing, the units of measure here are in bits per second. So we want to say if we exceed, and the minimum value that I can give is 8,000. I'll say if I exceed a rate of 8,000 bits per second, we're going to start dropping some of that excess traffic, which will be excess ping packets in our case. So I'll say police 8,000 bits per second, and then I can specify what happens if we don't exceed that limit. That would be a conforming action. I'll say my conforming action is send the traffic on its way, transmit it. If the traffic does exceed that rate, we're going to perform an exceed action, which is to drop that excess traffic. And step three of MQC is to apply the policy map. And typically we apply a policy map to an interface, but with control plane policing, we can actually go into control plane configuration mode. I can say control-plane, and notice now we're in CP or control plane configuration mode. And if I use some context-sensitive help, you can see this is about the only thing we can do within control plane configuration mode. So I'll say service-policy, and it's going to be traffic coming into the route processor or into this control plane. So the direction is going to be input, and I'm going to apply the policy we created called ping-policy. Let's enter that. Now let's go back to the PC and see if we're dropping any traffic. And we are. Notice that even though most of the traffic is getting through, these aren't particularly large ping packets I'm sending. Notice that we do have a few of these dots, meaning those were dropped. So we see we are actively policing excess ping traffic because of our configuration of CoPP, control plane policing.